Welcome back to the Lynn Rivers Show. Over several shows, we've been examining the Bill of Rights. Those early amendments to our Constitution tell us an important story, the story of us, America, how we went from the uppity rabble on the eastern seaboard of North America to a nation that has envied the world around for our individual liberties. But as Benjamin Franklin so famously said, we have a republic if we can keep it. Joining me today to talk about the protections we enjoy under the Fifth Amendment and what we must do to protect them is John Shea. Mr. Shea is an attorney in Ann Arbor and has a statewide practice devoted primarily to criminal defense, but he also represents clients in commercial and real estate litigation, professional malpractice defense, and in proceedings before the Attorney Discipline Board. A longstanding member of the ACLU, Mr. Shea has co-chaired the Lawyers Committee for the Washtenaw County branch of the ACLU of Michigan since 2002. The committee screens and makes recommendations regarding civil liberty complaints received by it. Also joining me by phone is Elizabeth Wydra. Ms. Wydra is Chief Counsel of the Constitutional Accountability Center, a think tank, law firm, and action center dedicated to showing how the text and history of the Constitution support progressive outcomes. She frequently participates in Supreme Court litigation and has argued several important cases in the federal courts of appeals. She has appeared as a legal expert for NBC, ABC, and Fox News, and is a regular contributor to the American Bar Association's preview of United States Supreme Court cases. Her work on progressive constitutional issues has appeared on numerous political and legal blogs. Mr. Shea, welcome.
Thank you.
Ms. Wydra, thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, I'm so excited to talk about this. We ended up doing the Bill of Rights series because I felt like there's so much to talk about the Constitution proper and the Bill of Rights, and so few of us as Americans are actually exposed to it. So to start off, let me read the Fifth Amendment, and then we're going to kind of break it down. So the Fifth Amendment reads, "No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation." I'm going to start with you, Ms. Wydra. Why is the Fifth Amendment in the Bill of Rights?
Well, I think that's a great question, and I think the answer might surprise a lot of people who only think of the Fifth Amendment as sort of, as you mentioned, the thing they see on Law and Order or other shows where someone pleads the Fifth. The Fifth Amendment, actually, in all of its clauses, acts as a crucial structural aspect of the Constitution, in that it provides populist protections of the people's liberty against government overreaching. It does this in all of its clauses, beginning with the grand jury indictment requirement. In the times leading up to the ratification of the Constitution and the American Revolution, the grand jury was incredibly important in allowing the colonists to fight back with whatever aspects of liberty they had against colonial overreaching. For example, the grand jury twice refused to indict the popular publisher John Peter Zenger, who was publishing freedom articles.
Let's talk a little bit about how that protects people, this requirement that there be an indictment issued by a grand jury. First, what's a grand jury?
So the grand jury is different from, I think, the jury that most people are familiar with, which is known as the petty jury, and that's the jury that you see in criminal trials, etc. The grand jury's charge is not to determine guilt or innocence like the petty jury, but rather to decide whether probable cause exists in the first place for subjecting a person to criminal prosecution.
Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that the grand jury's job is to look over the shoulder of the prosecutor?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. The government cannot institute a prosecution against someone today unless they first get an indictment from the grand jury. And while there is sort of this joke that you can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich, it's still an important protection. And certainly at the time that the Constitution was written, grand juries were seen as one of the most crucial means of protecting against government agents acting in their own self-interest or overreaching to infringe